The serene landscapes of Hérault, known for its vineyards and historic towns, have been transformed into a scene of devastation. The heavy rains, relentless and unforgiving, have caused rivers to burst their banks, triggering widespread flooding and chaos in the region. Hello and welcome back to Unpredictable Planet. The video shows dramatic flooding in the Hérault department of southern France on September 16, 2023. Heavy rainfall caused rivers to overflow and flood towns and cities across the region. The most intense flooding occurred in and around the town of Saint-Martin-de-Londres, located about 24 kilometers north of Montpellier. There is an orange alert in effect for heavy rain and flooding in the Hérault department. An intense rainfall event developed over the region in the morning hours of September 16th and continued to increase in strength through the afternoon. The department was initially placed under a red alert, the highest warning level, as extremely heavy rainfall was forecast. By late afternoon, accumulations between 200 to 600 mm were recorded across parts of Hérault, with localized amounts over 650 mm in the most affected areas. Around 5:30 p.m., the river le Hérault overflowed its banks in Saint-Martin-de-Londres. The video shows cars, streets and buildings in the town centre inundated with floodwaters over 2 meters deep. The fast-rising waters poured through the streets, engulfing vehicles, reaching above car door handles and covering ground floor windows in the town. The video gives a sense of the speed and depth of the sudden flooding in the town centre. Météo France had accurately predicted the potential for extreme rainfall and flooding in Hérault and surrounding areas. A very intense Mediterranean episode brought nearly stationary thunderstorms over the region, allowing extreme rainfall to persist. The first main area of storms moved over the region starting around midnight on September 15th, 16. Then, a second cluster of slow-moving storms formed around noon on September 16th, essentially stalling over the same area hit earlier. With 2 successive rounds of heavy rain, accumulations quickly mounted. Some areas saw their typical monthly rainfall amount in less than 12 hours. The hardest hit areas were across southern Hérault, along the foothills of the Larzac Plateau and Hérault Valley. The villages of Saint-Martin-de-Londres, Vallauquès, Saint-Mathieu de Trévière, Valflonès and others saw severe flash flooding damage. Rivers and tributaries in the Orbe and Hérault river basins experienced extraordinary discharges. The rivers swelled and overflowed their banks, inundating the surrounding areas. Around 2:38 p.m., Météo France placed several towns along the Hérault River on high alert, including Ganges, Lunel and Castries. The agency kept the public informed with frequent updates as the hazardous situation evolved through the day. At 2:39 p.m., the red alert was issued for Hérault department. Despite the warnings, the extreme rainfall exceeded 200 to 300 mm in just a few hours, resulting in devastating flash floods. The video explains the 2 successive rounds of heavy rain that led to the disastrous flooding. The first storm system moved over the region starting around midnight Friday night into Saturday morning. Then, the second storm formed around noon on Saturday, nearly stationary over the same area in southern Hérault that was just hit hours earlier. With no time to recover, rainfall quickly overwhelmed drainage systems and rivers. Some of the most extreme rainfall totals included 548 mm recorded at Roccozel, 497 mm at Puech-Redon, both in the hardest hit area near Saint-Martin-de-Londres, and 425 mm at Mont-Aigual. A rate of 150 to 180 mm in just 2 hours was noted during the peak of the second storm cell. This very heavy, sustained rainfall overwhelmed the landscape and drainage infrastructure of the region. While the meteorological setup was well forecast, it was challenging to pinpoint exactly which areas would receive the most intense storms and highest rainfall totals. The slow movement of the storms compounded the extreme rainfall over localized areas. This resulted in rainfall and subsequently flooding far exceeding initial projections. The video states the storms finally began to weaken around 7 p.m. Saturday evening. However, lighter rain continued overnight, adding to the disastrous flooding across the region. In total, the multi-day episode brought widespread rainfall accumulations over 200 mm and localized amounts over 500 mm. This extreme Mediterranean rainfall event followed a hot, dry summer across southeast France. Soils were parched and rivers were running low prior to the storms. This enhanced the amount of runoff once heavy rains fell, contributing to the flash flooding disaster. The catastrophic floods across parts of Hérault occurred just 1 week after similar extreme rainfall caused devastating flooding in the Gard department, about 100 kilometers to the west. The September 16th Hérault floods were even more intense than the September 9th, 11 Gard floods. However, they affected a smaller area, sparing some of the hardest hit towns from the previous week's flooding. The video serves as a startling documentation of how quickly floodwaters can rise and overwhelm communities when extreme rainfall persists over a vulnerable region. While forecasting technology continues to improve, certain weather setups remain challenging for pinpoint predictions of highest rainfall totals and greatest flash flood risk. Events like this demonstrate the unpredictable nature of extreme weather and the need for maximum preparedness in flood-prone regions. The September 2023 floods across parts of southern France will go down among the most devastating on record. They reveal the increased vulnerability of the area to episodes of extreme Mediterranean rainfall, likely exacerbated by climate change.